When Ms. Wilmot returns, I would like council to approach the bench. All right, let's bring in the jury. Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Have any of you seen any media coverage or heard any media coverage about this case? I see no hands. Ms. Wilmot, you may continue. The court is sustaining the objection to Exhibits 393 and 394.
Good morning. Say your name, please.
Yes, Lonnie Dworkin.
And Mr. Dorkin, we left off with pictures that you already have up there on your desk, Exhibits 393 and 394. We were talking about a mirror image or a copy of a hard drive. Do you remember that?
If you can refresh my memory, I don't remember the exact context.
Okay, well, we were just talking about a mirror image and things that you pulled off of that mirror image.
From where these photos came from?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. And the mirror image was taken of a hard drive. Do you know who that hard drive belonged to?
According to the documentation that was provided along with the hard drive, attached to the hard drive, and notes I had received separately previously from the Mesa Police Department, it appeared to belong to Jodi Arias.
Okay. And those two pictures, Exhibits 393 and 394, are those two pictures that came off of that mirror image of the hard drive?
Yes, I removed them from or I copied them off from the forensic copy, the mirror image.
All right. Okay, I want to talk to you, I want to move on a little bit and let's talk about a Helio phone that you looked at.
Okay.
What is a Helio phone?
A Helio phone, it's actually Ocean Helio. It's a early predecessor to today's smartphones. It has a dual function keyboard, so you can slide the phone in one way and reveal a dial pad with just numerical keys, or you can slide the phone in a different way and reveal a full keyboard, QWERTY keyboard. And it had some multimedia features, had the ability to surf the web, take photographs, record audio, things of that nature.
All right. And did you look at a Helio phone in this case?
Yes, Helio Ocean.
And did you actually receive the phone itself?
Yes, I did receive the phone.
Do you know when you did? When you received it?
I would have to check my records.
Okay, can you do that?
Sure.
And when you have that, I'll get it marked. Sorry,
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dorkin, I'm showing you what's been marked for identification as exhibit number 424. Can you tell us when you received that Helio phone?
I received the Helio phone, the Ocean Helio phone, on June 30th, 2010.
Okay, and when you received it, what did you do with it?
I secured it in my evidence locker, and then at a later date, I processed the phone to extract information.
All right, and what do you mean process the phone? Did you have a protocol that you do?
I do. I would have to refer. I generated several reports. Each report had a different objective or scope.
Okay.
I can speak generally to my protocol and specifically some of the challenges I faced with this phone, or I can pull my reports up and talk to each one.
Let's talk about specifically, did you have any problems with the phone pulling information?
Well, I had some challenges. Generally, with cell phone forensics, we like to use forensically established protocols and tools that go along with those protocols. So there are some very popular forensic tools out in the marketplace that will allow us to attach to a cell phone and extract the information in a repeatable, very comprehensive manner. However, prior to these specialized forensic tools showing up in the industry, we used to be left with either using commercial available tools to extract data, or sometimes something as simple as screen captures. And we found that screen captures were court accepted, and so that was always the fallback method. With this specific phone, the Ocean Helio brand, there were no forensic tools, and I just recently checked, and there still are no forensic tools available that can actually attach to the phone and extract the information directly. So I was relegated to having to just take screen captures to capture the information from the phone, with the exception of, I believe, the audio. The audio I actually played on the phone and captured it over an adapter, a wire adapter that's able to plug into the headset that came with the cell phone.
Tell me, well, before we get to the audio, do you know who this phone belonged to?
I believe it belonged to Jodi Arias.
Did you get a chance to turn on the phone?
Yes, that was part of my process of extracting the information. I had to turn on the phone.
Okay, so when you turned on the phone, were there any photos that came up?
On the phone, it had a big screen on the front of the phone, and as soon as you powered on the phone, there was a photograph of Jodi Arias and another.
It goes to ownership.
Overruled.
A photo of Jodi Arias and another young lady.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the audio. Can you explain to me what you mean by you plugged in to get the audio off of the phone?
Yes. Typically, before I examine a phone, especially one that I'm not familiar with, such as the Ocean Helio, I obtained a copy of the user manual and reviewed the user manual. Typically, the first step is to make sure that I don't change anything on the cell phone. And so I want to make sure I put the cell phone into what's called airplane mode, so it can't send or receive any wireless signals. This helps limit the amount of changes that could occur on the phone. After I did that, I had noted in the manual that I had the ability to record audio or memos, and I did locate a audio recording application on the phone. It's part of the built-in suite of applications that comes with the phone, and I was able to identify approximately 7 or 8 recordings that had been recorded over a period of time, and I was able to play those. What I did was, the phone, when I received it, it came with a little headset adapter, not actually a headset, but it had a very small microphone jack or headphone jack on the side of the cell phone. It wouldn't take a normal size headphone jack. So with this adapter, I was able to plug it into the side of the phone and then attach that to a recorder on my computer and play the audio from the phone over that wire and record it onto my computer.
So was it recorded directly onto your computer?
Correct. I did not just play the audio over its internal speaker and then try to pick it up with a microphone. I connected the phone directly from its audio out or headphone jack directly to my computer, and I recorded the audio.
All right. And what did you do with that audio after you recorded it?
I saved it as part of an overall report and provided that the set of audio files along with other recovered items as part of a CD report.
Okay. And then you said you did screen captures?
Yes, that was the only option, to capture call logs, messages, photographs, things of that nature.
Okay. And what's a screen capture?
A screen capture is quite simply turning on the phone. Information is displayed on the phone. Could be a photo, could be a call log, and I have a camera that's in a special rig, so to speak, that's suspended over the phone, and I can take photographs of each screen as I page through each screen.
Okay.
It's a laborious process, but
All right. And is that what you did in this situation?
yes.
Okay. All right. Did you also look at a Canon camera?
Yes,
Do you know when you did that?
approximately.
Do you need to look?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I have to check another source for the record.
Okay. Let's go back a second to the Helio
Okay.
before you do that. When you were talking about screen captures, the screen captures, did you take screen captures or pictures of the text messages that were on the Helio?
Yes.
All right. Judge, may I approach?
May.
See where you are. Okay.
391 and 392 I'm showing you.
Okay.
Do you recognize those as the screen captures from the Helio?
Yes. These appear to be from the Helio phone.
All right. And those are just photographs of the actual phone itself.
Yes.
And what are those photographs of? Not the content, but what are those photographs of?
These are photographs of messages that were taken over the phone. So these are the textual portions of the messages.
Okay. All right. And was that something, are these things that you also took off then at the same time that you were dealing with the audio? Was this all part of your examination?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the Canon.
Okay, almost there.
Okay.
Judge, I don't mind him looking at whatever he's looking at, but if we could just add what he looked at first. I think it was a computer, and now he's looking at something else so that the record accurately reflects what he's referring to.
Yes.
Ms. Wilmot.
Judge, what did you look at first?
The first thing I looked at was a calendar I maintained for my activities. When I received the camera, I was actually in another hearing here in court, and I was called down to receive the camera from defense.
Okay.
I came down and received the camera, and then because I did not know I was going to be receiving it, I had no paperwork with me. Normally, I have a item receipt or a chain of custody form with me when I pick up evidence items. In this case, I did not. I received the camera, and that's why I'm having to go back to my digital system, because when I got back to my lab, I checked it into my evidence locker, and for that I have a digital system, which is not on my computer, but it's on my iPhone.
Okay.
So now I'm checking my digital record back from my office.
On your iPhone?
On my iPhone.
Okay.
Yes. The 15th. Okay. Okay, I'm ready with my answer.
All right. So when did you receive the Canon camera?
I have a record of checking it into my evidence locker on January 15th
Of what year?
of this year.
Okay.
And I just checked my calendar, and I see that I have my court appearance in the other case on the 15th. And so these coincide, so I believe I received it on January 15th, 2013.
All right. Have you reviewed cameras before in your experience?
Yes.
What do you have, like a standard protocol, or what is it that you do when you receive a camera?
Yes, I have a standard protocol for reviewing cameras. The first step when I receive a camera is I obtain a copy of the user manual so I can learn about some of the key features of the camera. Specifically, I'd like to know if it has any internal memory. I'd like to know if it has the ability to maintain date and time. Most digital cameras today do. I also want to make sure that, to check other features, for example, the ability to take remote photos, if it has a timer built into it, other salient features. Also, I'd like to learn what kind of memory cards does it take and how many. Some of the professional cameras, for example, can take 2 different types of memory cards, and sometimes those memory cards are 2 different types of memory cards. So I want to make sure I don't inadvertently overlook something when I examine the camera. Once I receive the evidence item, sometimes it comes in an enclosure or a carrying case. So the protocol is to inspect all the contents of the carrying case, all the pockets, hidden pockets, and so forth, and photograph and document the contents. And then I move on to the camera itself. I take photographs of the camera as well. And then based on the information I got when I reviewed the user guide, I remove the memory cards, set them aside. I take photographs of those as well. And then if I can, I'll power on the camera.
You're looking at YouTube Free Web Proxy. Can you tell us what that means?
That's essentially that's again a video, and it's, I don't know what the content actually is, because again, like the others, I've not actually made an effort to look at what the content was. Again, these are just a few of thousands of entries, over almost 100,000 entries. So there's no way I can select specific ones and be knowledgeable about all 100,000.
I understand that you can't be knowledgeable over 100,000, but with regard to exhibit number 419, that's not 100,000, is it?
You are correct.
These are very specific entries, right?
Yes.
And you were asked about them on Thursday, right?
For the first time, yes.
You were asked about them Thursday, yes or no, sir?
Yes.
And with regard to saying asked about them the first time, Is there any prohibition that you know of that prevents defense counsel from asking you something before you come to court?
Objection, Your Honor, relevant. Improper.
Is there?
No.
So if we then take a look at the entry at the top, we're again talking about this. The time is June 4th, 2008 at 4:15 in the morning, right?
Correct.
And it's again the same YouTube, daft hands, double speed, faster, better. Do you have any way of knowing of whether or not that's just the video speeded up?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
In other words, could they be that the people that are in the video are moving faster than the previous video?
Objection, Judge. Same objection as before. This specificity.
Overruled, Jimmy.
I'm not sure I understand the nature of the question.
In other words, in terms of this particular entry here, when it talks about faster, better, double speed, you don't know what double speed means, do you?
I don't know what anything about this video contains,
Right.
and I can't determine it based just merely on the title, because I know from my experience...
So the answer is you
see
don't
this.
know, correct?
That is correct.
But this is a report that you provided, correct?
Yes.
And you created this report, correct?
Yes, I did.
And that involved the computer that we've been calling the victim's computer, correct?
Correct.
With regard to that computer, did you check to see whether or not there were any images at all of women's breasts in the victim's computer?
Not specifically. No, I did not.
Generally, did you do that?
No, not generally.
Did you even look to see if there were any photographs of any women's breasts on there?
Not specifically, no.
As you sit here today, can you tell us that there were any images of women's breasts in that computer?
Objection, speculation. He just said he didn't look for him.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't have that knowledge because I wasn't tasked to do that.
Right, but the bottom line is, as you sit here, you can't tell us that there is because you didn't look, right?
Correct.
And you can't tell us that there are any images whatsoever of any nude women, whether it's breast or otherwise, right?
Not without reviewing my notes. I would
Well-
have to review my notes. If you'd like, I could.
You're now telling me that this may be in your notes, and before you told me that you didn't review the data. Which one is it?
When I'm asked to provide,
Sir, my answer is which one is it? Not a long answer, if you don't mind. Which one is it?
can you re-ask the question?
Sure. Is it that you didn't look in this computer for any nudes, or is it that there weren't any?
I recall there was some pornography on the computer. I don't recall if they were specifically just women's breasts or if there was more pornography than that or of a different nature of pornography.
Do you remember that we had an interview about this issue, and that we discussed it?
I remember we did have an interview a couple of years ago, yes.
And isn't it true that at that time you told me that there was no pornography?
If I said that at that time, then I would stand by that statement. I just don't have the specific knowledge at this time.
All right. So you don't have any knowledge at all at this time is what you're trying to tell me?
Correct.
Okay. The hard drive, not the one that was broken, right? Now I want to talk about that. That one you linked up to the defendant, Jodi Arias, correct?
Yes.
So when we talk about that, let's talk about that as the defendant's hard drive. With regard to that, you said it was damaged, right?
Yes.
You don't know who damaged it, right?
Correct.
You don't know if it was the defendant who damaged it, right?
I don't know who damaged it.
And you don't know what kind of damage it sustained, right?
Correct.
And you don't know, do you know that it was seized up in Wairika, or do you even know, do your records reflect any of that? You know where it was taken from by the police. You said you reviewed the report. Isn't it true that that was seized by the police in Wairika?
It's possible it's in the notes. It's been so many years since I reviewed it. I don't
Do you
recall.
have those notes with you?
I do not have the police notes with me.
Okay.
I do know that it was seized at some point by Mesa Police Department, and they had made some notes about not being able to make a forensic copy of it at the time.
Right.
And then at a later date, they were able to provide a forensic copy of what they were able to have recovered.
And they provided you a report first of what they were able to recover, correct?
I never received a police report from what they were able to recover.
You weren't shown a copy of their forensic report?
I don't believe so. I believe I just received a NCASE copy or forensic copy of the recovered sectors.
We keep talking about mirror image, that, and then we're talking about an NCASE report. What you received, was that a mirror image of what was on that hard drive, or was it something else?
It was a copy from the Mesa Police Department of what they were able to copy from that hard drive. It was an exact copy or forensic copy.
So, just so that we're clear, because it appears that there's some terms going on, NCASE, what does that have to do with the mirror image that you received? Let me ask, aren't they the same thing, or are they different?
NCASE is just a tool that has multiple functions. One of the functions is it has the ability to make a forensic copy. We refer to the forensic copy as an E01 or E01 copy. What I received from the police department was the E01 or NCASE copy they produced using NCASE.
So it was something that NCASE was used to generate what was given to you, right?
Correct.
And then when you went to look at it, you also used NCASE, correct?
Correct.
And then you were able to view whatever the images were that were on there, right?
Yes.
Then some of the images that you were able to access, for example, one of them is 417. Do you see this one?
Objection. Are we still talking about the hard drive?
No, we're not. You also, sir, in terms of seizing items, the broken one, the defendant's, that produced some photographs, right?
I was able to recover photographs from there.
We then have the camera that we've been talking about, the Canon camera, right?
Yes.
And that Canon camera also belonged to the defendant, right?
I believe so, yes.
So of all the three things that we have here, the first one was the victim's, right?
I'm confused. The first one, what?
The compact presario that we talked about. That was the victim's, right?
Okay, yes.
The other two items belong to the defendant, right?
The broken hard drive and the camera.
All right. And with regard to the Canon camera, there are some photographs that were taken. And this is one of them, right?
Yes.
And this one says Travis Alexander's, the possessive, on the shirt, right?
Correct.
And then it says Travis's on the shorts, right?
Correct.
They looked a little bit posed there, don't they?
Yes.
And do you know the occasion or the reason why they're posed in that fashion?
Objection, speculation.
Over, or do you answer yes or no?
I don't know the context in which this photo was taken.
And do you even know who took it?
I do not.
There is something here in the corner. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
There's also something on the right corner. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
But we do know with regard to this one, which is Exhibit 417, that if the data is correct, it was taken on July 12th of 2008, right?
Yes.
And July 12th of 2008 is after June 4th of 2008, right?
Yes.
And you do not know how these were created. In other words, you don't know who, for example, put Travis Alexander on that shirt, right?
Correct.
And Travis's, you don't know who did that, right?
Correct.
And again, with regard to this particular date of July 12th of 2008, we do know that July 15th of 2008 comes after this particular date of July 12th of 2008, right?
Yes.
Sir, you're really not an expert on hair, are you?
I've been asked for my opinion in the past on body features, including hair.
Okay.
But as a advertised expert on hair specifically, no.
So with regard to exhibit number 413, when you were asked about hair color and that sort of thing, were you just giving us the same opinion that anybody in this courtroom would have given us?
Yes.
So it's not that you're any better or any worse than people here, right?
Probably not.
And with regard to this particular color of hair, do you know whether or not the day before this person on the right had that hair color? Do you know when that color was put on there?
There's no way I could know.
There's no way anybody could know that, right?
I don't believe so.
With regard to exhibit number 414, what's the name of the dog?
I do not know.
And exhibit number 415, any idea who this person is?
I do not know.
Any idea why the occasion was that this was taken?
I do not.
And in terms of the hair, do you know when this hair color was applied to the defendant?
No, I don't.
If we then take a look at this one, it's exhibit 414. It does seem that whatever hair color is there, it's throughout. In other words, it's not showing any roots, right?
Objection, speculation.
Overruled.
This particular angle is a little difficult to make that determination only because it's just one sample photograph. I'd like to see additional photographs or see if there are other additional photographs with it.
I'm asking you about this photograph, and I'm asking you to focus right here on the forehead. You see any different colored roots there?
I can't make that.
Objection, judge, speculation as to what the color of the hair is without dye. It might be the same color, therefore there would be no roots.
Counsel approach. May continue.
See the forehead there?
Yes.
What's the color of the hair closest to the forehead?
I can't make a determination, and the reason for that is we're looking at a picture of
Sir,
a picture.
excuse me. I asked you whether or not you could make out the color. Is the answer no?
No one could.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Redirect.
Judge, may I ask a question so that I don't have to recall him later?
Yes, you may.
So take a look at these photographs, and please don't demonstrate them to anybody. Exhibits 425 to 427. Take a look at them.
Okay, I viewed them.
These photographs, did they also come from the hard drive that was broken?
I do not know.
You didn't review all of it? Or how is it that you recognize some photographs but not others?
The photographs that I was asked to identify previously were shown to me by counsel prior to my coming into the courtroom, and I was able to refer to my reports and identify them.
All right.
These have not been shown before and not been asked to identify before.
Right. I mean, I don't have any other questions.
Ms. Wilmot, do you have an extensive redirect, or is it brief?
Judge, it's fairly... It may take longer than 5 minutes, or 4 now.
All right. We'll take the noon recess at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, please be back in the designated area at 1:25, and we will start promptly at 1:30. Please remember the admonition. You are excused. Have a nice lunch.